Hi, this is Bob Moog at UG Studios, and our guests today are from the inventing community, and these are really, really special people who have joined us and who I've known for a long time. We have Gary Donner, and we have Michael Steer from Random Games, and we have Wendy Harris, who's also an inventor and has invented one of the games that we sell at University Games. And so we're just going to have a conversation about game inventing and how these guys got started and what the challenges are. I think you'll find this interesting if you're sort of a wannabe game inventor, but also if you're just interested in what's going on in the US game, the global game business. So how are y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
Enjoying the show.
So just to start, when did we all meet? Wendy I met today, but how about you guys? I think it might have been before we had color forms.
Yeah, it was in Las Vegas.
It was in Las Vegas at the show.
You were making a presentation at the game show out in Las Vegas.
Yeah, at the TGIF.
Yeah. Yes.
That might have been 20 years ago?
At least.
Yeah.
Could have been in the late 80s.
Oh, maybe it was the very first one, because the first time I made a presentation was like the third year they did it.
Yeah.
It would have been 1988 or 89.
I believe
I
it.
can't believe we've known each other that long.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is.
And when we talk about inventing, how long had you been inventing games at that point?
Well, we started actually in the early 70s, and we incorporated in 74, and then it took us 5 years before we actually licensed one.
And were you doing other jobs during those 5 years?
Absolutely. Don't quit your day job.
Don't quit your
the motto of this business.
Okay. So was it called Random Games and Toys in the beginning?
Yes.
I thought it was just Random Games at one
Well,
point.
actually, it was. Random Games Incorporated.
Yeah.
You're right. Boy, he is good.
And what was the first game you licensed after 5 years of trying?
Well, after 5 years of trying, we got two in the same year. Wizard's Quest with Avalon Hill Game Company and Poker Royal by Hoyle.
Oh, that rhymes. So that was your first two things, and then what was your first one with like a Hasbro or Mattel level company?
Well, actually, the most important game in the beginning was Pocket Trivia with Hoyle.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the one that sold 10 million decks in 2 years.
Wow.
And even
Gave
Ken
us the
Jennings was reading our Pocket Trivia. That's where he learned some of the answers.
So this is really interesting. This is interesting for people to know about how game trends work. When Trivial Pursuit came out, it was very, very successful. And before Trivial Pursuit, the general perception in the game world was a game where there's questions you can only answer once and then you know the answer is not going to be popular, because a board game by definition needs to have repeat play.
Yes.
And once Trivial Pursuit was established, how many trivia games would you say came out? Every company was putting out trivia games.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody.
After Hoyle bought it, they presented it to Kmart, and Kmart said, "Oh, we don't need another trivia game. We've already got 21."
21.
And
Oh, yeah.
then, at the end of the presentation, the Kmart buyer said, "Well, how much does it cost?"
And it was probably like $2 or something.
That's
Yep.
the retail.
That
Yeah.
was the retail.
90
it was
cents
$1.
wholesale.
Yeah.
So by the time they got back to their office in Minneapolis, they had an order for 500,000 games.
Wow.
Yep.
It was
And
a
that
And in those days, I was going to say, in those days it would have been telex. Well, I have a funny story about Kmart. When we first got our first order from Kmart, the way they used to order, Kmart was the #1 seller of toys in America at the time.
Yeah.
And the way they would send their order is by mail. They would send you an order on a piece of paper for every single store. And they had about 3,000 stores. So we were so excited to get this big package at our office. Our first Kmart order, it was a game called Dynamite. It was a dinosaur game. And they called and said, "We've sent the order, please confirm you can ship it." And at that time, our company was very small. We were about 4 or 5 people, but we would hire temps to be receptionists. So every day when the mail came in, I'd go to the temp and say, "Has the Kmart order come? Has the Kmart order come?" And I couldn't understand what was happening. And after about 2 weeks, she was sick one day. And I said to my partner, I can't believe the Kmart order's not here. And he said, "Well, I can't believe that her damn desk isn't level." And I said, "What do you mean it's not level?" He goes, "It's rickety." He was sitting there answering the phone. And we looked, and she had taken the Kmart order and stuck it under one of the one of the the foots of the desk, and that was what was holding her desk up, and it had been there for 2 weeks, and she hadn't realized it was the Kmart order.
That's a thick order.
It was a thick order. The desk had one leg that was half the size of the others, so that was a pretty funny thing. So that's an interesting thing, but the example you use is an example you've used in your career, or a strategy you've used in your career other times, where you see a trend and there's something out there, and then you come up with something that's positioned either at a different price point or for a different channel.
Absolutely.
And do you do that consciously?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we
That's
do.
exactly what we did.
It became trivia by the pound.
Yeah.
Is what the Hoyle consultant was.
Uh-huh.
That's how he sold it to them.
That's great. That's great. Now, tell me, and especially for people who are listening, when it comes to inventing games and selling games, what are your tricks of the trade? Is it, some people say, well, if it's a great game, someone will buy it. Other people say it's the fit with the company. Some people say it's luck. Some say it's persistence. What do you find?
It's all of those.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did I miss
You have
any?
to be
Did I miss any?
Trend watching.
Trend watching is important. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And being lucky is probably the biggest factor. Timing.
Timing.
You can have the best
Yeah.
item at the wrong year, and
Uh-huh.
it doesn't go.
The fit with the company, you're looking for card games.
Yeah.
So we're going to be on target and showing you card games.
And if you want strategy games, well, we got a war chest of those too.
Okay. That's great. For people starting out, would you recommend that if a game gets presented and no one wants it, they should forget about it? Or should they, like you just said, a war chest?
Yes. Well, actually, I can tell you, one game comes to mind. It was with Doe, and we've been trying to sell it for 30 years, and finally, we were able to sell it to your British counterpart, and it's a success with them. But it took 30 years to even get to the market.
Wow. Now, did you show it to them? Did you show it to them 30 times? Or-
No. We actually put that away for a while, and then brought it out again when we
When you
thought
thought
the
the time
timing
was
was
right.
better.
Let's talk briefly about the games that you're currently doing with us, because a lot of people don't understand how this works. We invent a lot of games here at University Games. I think we probably do a higher percentage of our own than other people. Is that true, or are we in the middle?
I think you've been moving more and more toward more inventor items. I've seen that. And,
Yeah.
and now we have 3 items with you, and
Yeah.
5 years ago we didn't have any.
Right. So we're open to inventor items. I still like to invent myself. I started
Yes,
out as an
that's
inventor.
right.
Yes.
When you met me, I had just done 20 questions and I was trying to figure out how to build the company. Let's just talk real quickly about the games, because they
Okay.
each have an interesting story. So
Yours.
Tip of the Tongue is a game that was launched with Fundex. What year was that?
Oh my gosh. Early 2000s.
Yeah, so 15 years ago, a competitor of ours, Fundex, launched the game, and they had it for how many years?
Probably in their line about 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years, and they did it as a pegged game, as I remember. Or-
Yes,
yeah.
it was a peg.
And then we looked at it and we decided that it would be great to bring it back. And do you feel like the way we've brought it back is different enough from how it was originally done that it feels like a new game? Or do you feel like people are going to remember the old game?
The heart of it feels the same to me, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But the packaging definitely gives it a different feel.
Yeah.
A little edgier today.
Yes, very much so.
And then Hit the Deck is also another bring back.
That was one that Michael and I did for Fundex. They said, we got a great name, Hit the Deck, but we can't get a good game.
Really?
Yes.
Right.
And in a week, we had Hit the Deck, and it went on to sell 2 million with Fundex, and now it's got a relaunch, and we're very excited about it.
And then the third one,
Stakz.
Now Stakz is an interesting story. It's my favorite new game that we have. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
We love
I
it
love
too.
it. Stakz is a game. It's going to be on the shelves probably by May or June. If you're seeing this and it's 2021 or 2022 or 2023, it's now probably won a lot of awards. It's a best-selling game. You probably already own it.
Wow!
No, the thing about
that
Stakz,
would be a dream.
the thing that I like about Stakz, that I really enjoy playing it, is you've taken some of the game dynamic of set, which is matching by color or pattern, but you've made it tactile. And one of the things we're really about right now at University Games is moving from doing auditory and memory games, which is what I like to invent, to things that are more kinesthetic, things that are more tactile. And so this is such a great tactile game.
The other thing
we're so happy to have it in our line.
Yes, we are too, because we think you know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that excites me about stacks is that as the game progresses, there's more and more stacks, and you have that climax that's just unforgettable, just like you have in games like Rummikub and Quirkle.
Yeah, anybody can win. I mean, at the end, it is so close that everybody's got a chance.
And you can be behind. I was playing yesterday, and I had 5 tiles left, and the person next to me had 1, and I won the game.
Yes.
Because the person before me made some splits, and then I was able to make 1 more split, and then I got rid of everything.
That was it. Yeah, that's the excitement of it. It's amazing.
I think also the games I like best are the ones that as soon as I finish, I want to play again.
Yes.
You know, those are my favorite types of games. What are each of your favorite games?
Well,
or that you played growing up, or that you think are your favorite games now?
I'm going to speak for my wife.
Okay.
Stacks is the game that she plays with me, and believe me, that's a true test of a good game.
And then how about for you, Wendy? What's your favorite game that you played as a child, or that you play now?
My favorite game growing up was always Stratego. Love the surprise element of it. You feel like you've really got strategy, even though it's a lot of luck.
Have you invented any games that are strategy games like Stratego, or anything along those lines?
A little bit of light strategy, nothing quite like that.
Yeah.
Some
of that thinking, that part of your brain. And how about for you?
We developed a game called Figure of Speech, and it ended up coming out as Play to Win.
With Coleco.
With Coleco. And we had a game at the same time. Well, we had a game that same time called Charado. And it was Pictionary with Dough.
Pictionary with Dough.
Exactly.
So much fun.
And you had Play to Win. I remember when we were both out there at the same time.
That's right.
All right, this has been great. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by. Wonderful to have you be part of UG Studios.
Thank you, Bob.